Hey guys, how you doing? It's Elstonation here. So we're going to carry on with the starting a 30k Legion Army series thingy that I've been doing. Apologies, there's been a bit of a break with it. I've been doing a little bit of a side project where I build a model a day. It's been taking it out of me a little bit. And there's also another couple of reasons why I haven't been doing it. I've basically been kind of hitting a bit of a brick wall on ideas because I've kind of got some conflicting thoughts going on at the moment. I want to do. I want to go through specific Legion stuff, and I'll go through specific Legion rules. However, things have been thrown up in the air a little bit. The two books I mentioned to get at the very start of this, one of them's no longer in production. And the reason being is there's another book coming out, which has all the updated rules for 7th Ed and all the legions in it so far. So stuff like the Ultramarines are in it as well, and bits and bobs like that. So it's a bit frustrating because I can't really go through doing having a look at them right now because I want to go through them with the updated rules. I don't see the point in going through them with old rules and then 2 weeks later have new rules. It just doesn't make sense to me. So that's a little bit on hold at the moment, sort of thing. The other thing as well is I was getting to a point where I didn't really understand where I wanted to go with this. Because it's starting a 30k Legion, there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of stuff. And what I really don't want to do is leave people behind. I don't want people just thinking I'm going massively off tangent straight away, sort of thing. So people just go, I don't know what he's talking about anymore, and I leave them behind, and I don't want that to happen at all. So I'm going to try and draw it back a little bit. Now, how do I do that? I'm going to go over the fluff a little bit. To a degree. Now this bit is always a bit precarious for me because I know I'm going to get stuff wrong, other people are going to correct me, that's fine, I appreciate it. At the end of the day, it's 30k, it's a fictional story. Even if it was historical, there's no way you can get it right. History, I watched a load of World War II documentaries at one point because I wanted to learn about World War II. And the amount of conflicting facts that people were telling me, I was just sitting there scratching my head going, well, no one really knows the full breadth of it. And like, people have an idea, but not everyone really understands it completely. So take this all with a pinch of salt, okay? And at the end of the day, think you might interpret it different to how I do. And that's fine, that is completely fine, that is just the way things are. You might see things differently to me. Now, one thing I will ask as well is you don't force this down anyone else's throats as well, because it's not for you to say what is right and what is wrong with someone's hobby at the end of the day. That is up to them at the end of the day. So I would ask your patience, and if you see something that's wrong, you say, all you have to do is change your wording slightly. Instead of going, no, that's not how it happens, you go, okay, well, the way I read it, I thought this happened. That's all you have to do, is the way I read it, or the way I understood it. Put that before your sentence, and then you avoid conflict at the end of the day. So please, people, just bear that in mind. It is a fictional story. Just, if you're going to try and correct people or tell them what you think, just say, at the beginning, the way I understand it, or the way I read it, I believe this. So yeah, and it avoids all kinds of conflict at the end of the day. Also as well, I have to mention there is a new group on Facebook, and my friend Mr. Pezapu has created it. Geek 30k for noobs or something like that, to that effect. There'll be a link down below to his video. He's the admin. I'm not gonna say a link to the group as well, that's up to him, but there's a link in the description of that. It's up to you. He can beat you out. I'm not an admin there. I'm just kind of pointing you in that direction because those people are new to the game and they're learning it. So I would suggest go along, have a look, see what you think. At the end of the day, it might help out. It might help out indeed. So yeah, there'll be a link to his video below. He does literally warn you in the video as well. Just don't be a douche at the end of the day. So yeah, right, okay, so what is this topic about today? Now, this topic was a little bit about the kind of the history behind Space Marines and what they do. Now, a good book I find as a point of reference was one called The Outcast Dead. It was a bit of an interesting book, a little bit of a side one. I thought it was really, I thought it was quite good. Mainly because one of the main protagonists in it, it's not a Space Marine at the end of the day. He's a navigator guy. And it's really, he's a grumpy bugger at the end of the day, which I find really funny. So yeah, if you get a chance to check it out. Now, reason why I say The Outcast Dead, it references a kind of proto-Space Marine. Well, let's throw it back to the beginning. If you hear my phone going off, apologies. I'm not going to answer it because I'm doing this. So what happened? Let's start with a little bit of fluff story. There was an immortal person who basically ended up becoming Lord of Earth called the Emperor. How did he do that? He basically got rid of everyone else, or sort of made deals with them and say, you now work for me and I won't kill you, which is kind of the way it worked. The way he also did it as well, he got rid of religion, which was kind of an interesting take, and that's a whole other topic in its own right. But yeah, so he got rid of religion, and united everyone on Earth to go out and conquer the worlds. Now, he knew that he would need something more than man to go out and conquer the stars. So, well, even just to conquer Earth, actually, because I believe that the Proto-Space Marines, i.e. the Thunder Warriors, which I'll explain about in a second, came before even the unification of Terra. So what he did is he started creating genetically enhanced super soldiers. They were called Thunder Warriors. I'm sure there's another name. But yeah, basically, these guys ended up conquering Earth for the Emperor. So they were called Thunder Warriors, and if you ever hear of Mark I Space Marine armor, that's what Thunder Warriors wore. So it wasn't completely plated up. There were still bits of flesh and stuff like that, but they've all got weird like top knots, and you can still see like the bottom part of the face and sort of stuff, and like forearms. It's a bit odd, but yeah. So yeah, the Thunder Warriors helped the Emperor conquer Earth and unify it. So the next point of call is he needed something a bit more to conquer space. So the Thunder Warriors had all the abilities the Space Marines... Well, no, that's a wrong statement. They had the beginning parts of what the Space Marines had. Now, I don't know exactly what parts they didn't have, but in The Outcast Dead, it hints at the fact that the lifespan of them was not like the Space Marines, because Space Marines are basically immortal. Apparently they kind of age, but they don't age at the same time, so they could carry on living forever. I think something like in 40k, Dante of the Blood Angels is like the oldest, and he's like 1,000 years old or something like that. But Space Marines were designed to live constantly. Thunder Warriors, from my understanding of it, were not. So they had a lifespan. It was longer than humans, but there was a lifespan. And what happened is the Emperor took the Thunder Warrior sort of genes and enhanced them, and then made the Astartes, which are Space Marines. Okay, so there is a difference. Astartes does mean Space Marine, but a Thunder Warrior is not a Space Marine. Follow me? Okay, hopefully you're still with me at this point. Okay, so we've got Mark I armor goes on Thunder Warriors, and then everything after Thunder Warriors are Astartes, and they usually got Mark II upwards, sort of thing. Okay, so to explain a little bit about how Space Marines work and what they do as well. Space Marines got all kinds of funky little things. So yeah, they're super strong, they're really fast, and they've got immense armor. but they got loads of little titty bits which help them quite a lot as well. So now I'm going to get a lot of these wrong. I know I am, because I can't remember them all, and I haven't got a reference book here, so bear with me, guys. I'll get stuff wrong, but this is just to sort of give you a bit of heads up what we can do. So the Space Marine's armor actually enhances its strength and speed and stuff like that. Okay, so the armor actually makes them even better. Okay, so that's point one. Armor does have a lot. It's got fiber bundles apparently which interact. It's got like sockets which there's like sockets in the Space Marine skin where the armor plugs into. Again, all of this a little bit circumspect, depending on how you read it. But as I said, Space Marines have got a lot of other little tricks up their sleeve. So yeah, they're super strong, they're super quick. They've also got incredible hearing, and the reason why that is useful is if you've got incredible hearing, you've got incredible balance. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Your hearing affects your balance. So if you ever try it, if you ever go deaf, try and walk in a straight line. It's really quite strange. I've had it happen to me when doing martial arts. There's a thing where they can clap your ears, and you sound like you're in a fishbowl for a bit. But it's really hard to walk straight after that. You feel like you're drunk. So yeah, enhanced hearing to enable their balance to be even better. So, you know, you kind of see those scenes, you're like, yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to do that. That's like some Rambo style, like crazy hero stuff. Well, they basically got that ability to do that because they've got incredible balance. Second of all, they can basically filter out a lot of toxins. They've got a third lung to filter those out. So if they inhale toxins, they can basically filter that. The suit also filters out a lot of stuff as well, so they're really quite tough for that. They've got a second heart. Didn't know that. If you didn't know that, there you go. Second heart Space Marines. So if you stab in one heart, they've got another one to carry on. Okay. What else have they got? They've got the ability. Now, if I understand this, if they ingest people's tissue, I'm not sure if it's tissue or brains, I'm not totally sure. Basically, if they ingest it, they have the ability to see that thing's memories. If I remember rightly, if that's how I remember reading it, again, correct me if I'm wrong. That's how I kind of remember it, but as I said, I could be wrong on that front. So yeah, they can ingest stuff as well, and inherently learn the traits from that. Another thing, which not all Space Marines have got, it's like one of the gene things, and this kind of brings me on to what I'll lead on to possibly in the next video, is some of them can spit acid. So, hole. So yeah, some Space Marines can spit acid, and some of them can't. Some of them in their sort of gene seed DNA makeup, they don't have that ability. Some of them do. So that's just one of the things. Likewise, a lot of these things, which is again leading me on to the next topic, a lot of these traits are not always inherent, and there's loads of other little tiddly bits. Laraman cells, I have to mention that one if I remember rightly. Laraman cells basically mean that the blood will clot instantly. So if the Space Marine gets cut, it scabs over pretty much instantly. So it's one of those interesting things. If you can imagine getting cut and your arm not bleeding, it just, you'll get the initial splash of blood or whatever, and then it'll just seal up, which is pretty crazy. I mean, obviously that works to a degree. Some stuff doesn't. Like if it's too deep, it might not work that well. So yeah, what they say in a lot of books is you can hear that you say that their Laraman cells are fighting to try and stave off stuff and bits and bobs. It's kind of like a genetic level. Space Marines were better than Thunder Warriors, basically. They had stuff in their blood which made them better. Not just armor and stuff like that as well, okay? So that's another thing. But yeah, leading on to, as I said, the next part of possibly the next video, I want to do about the Primarchs. All of these little extra bits and stuff like that, as far as I understand it and the way it works, were the gene seed, which was implanted, I think one of the last things that was implanted, helped all the organs function together. I could be wrong, the gene seed could be implanted first and then it'll work, but it helped the whole system function properly, which is why the gene seed was so important. I don't know how the body reacted without, but there's stories and stuff that people would go, oh, he just failed and then he dies. Because his body didn't take to it or something like that. Some novitiates and stuff like that just say they failed it and they didn't take or something to that degree. So, yeah, that one's a bit... I'm not 100% sure. So, if anyone knows a bit more about that, they'd be quite interesting. Stick in the comments below so that people can have a read. Or if you've got links, that's even better. So, yeah. So the gene seed was this important part. So it allowed... Because I think they could just generate these organs and grow them and artificially create them, but they couldn't always get them to work in the body without the gene seed. Now the gene seed came from the Primarchs. Now this is where I was kind of leading on to. So you know how I said some Space Marines had a trait and some Space Marines didn't? That comes down from their gene seed. So some... basically the inherent gifts of the Primarchs, or their inherent attributes, got passed down through the gene seed side of things. A lot of the weird ones, like Sons of Horus, the ultimate bad guys, a lot of the things their gene seed did was actually alter their face. It made their face look a bit more like Horus. So that's a strange little thing. Stuff like Thousand Suns, a bit more psychically enhanced, but their gene seed was possibly a bit corrupted, so it was a bit more prone to wild mutations and basically just got chaos spawn sometimes, which is a bit wild. What was the Space Wolf one? With the Space Wolves, they had a precursor to the gene seed. I think it was called the Canis Helix or something like that. That basically, yeah, they had to take it. And it gave them the whole animal ability, and then they put the gene seed in them. A lot of people thought it was the gene seed that made them all wolf-like, but it wasn't. It was this Canis Helix, or... I'm sure I got that wrong. Have a look. It's on the internet somewhere. So yeah, like Space Wolves, they had like precursors to the gene seeds. That's in a lot of the books. I think that's in Thousand Suns, where there's a Space Wolf talking to Magnus, and Magnus knows the secret of the Space Wolves, because that's supposed to be like a secret in the Space Wolves that no one outside the Legion knows, but Magnus knows it. And he's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't, but okay. So the Primarchs basically gifted down other inherent traits. I think like the Imperial Fist couldn't spit acid. Stuff like that. As I said, some made them a bit more psychic aware, some made them just more tough and resilient. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't know exactly which one did which and which Primarch. It's just one of those things. I know with salamanders, their gene seed reacted with the radiation from their home world, which is why they've got black skin. They're not born like a different race or anything like that. It's literally a mutation from their gene seed reacting with the radiation of Nocturne, which is why they got black skin and red eyes, like devil men. Like, so yeah, that explains why that is. There's a few more. You'll have to kind of read the books to understand what they do and stuff like that. I couldn't tell you all because I don't know them all, so I'm just kind of pointing you in the right direction. But that's kind of the idea behind Space Marines and where they get their ideas from. So there is like a genetic makeup hand down from the Primarch to the Space Marines. So it doesn't mean it changed their character, but it means it gives them a little extra something, which makes them a little bit more like their Primarch. So yeah. And yeah, as you can see, obviously they've got full-on armor, unlike the Thunder Warriors. So they're fully clad up and ready to rock and roll. And these, I believe, can be sealed up so they can go out into space. But I'm not 100% sure on that. There's a bit of a mixed one on that, where some of the armor is not completely void sealed. Some is. That one's a bit up to interpretation. So, but yeah, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea behind Space Marines and what you're kind of dealing with when it comes to like 30k Space Marines, and so you can understand a bit of the fluff behind it and maybe give you a bit of an idea of character. So yeah, this is just kind of point you in the right direction of where to start doing if you just wanted to have a look at the background behind the fluff. When the new rulebook comes out, I will get it and we can start having a look at specific Legion rules. There will be a painting tutorial on this guy once I've got them finished and filmed, so that will be coming out as soon as I've done that. So there'll be a link below to Pezapoo's video, and the Facebook group, there will be a link on his video as well, so go check it out. If you join the group, I think they're talking about having meetups so you can learn to play the game. I hopefully will be showing up to some of them, so if you want to come and chat to me in person, that's cool. I'll teach the game as best I can, sort of thing. I know it. I am trying to take a bit of a backseat on that group, because if people want to ask me questions, I'll happily answer them. But this is not about me. This is about helping people understanding and learn it. So I'm not going to force anything down anyone's throat. If they want to ask me a question, I'll answer it. But apart from that, I'll just take a bit of a backseat and work it from there, sort of thing. But I think there's going to be like a beginners versus noobs game first off, and then it'll be like a noob and a noob and a vet. Did I say beginners versus noob game? That's just sorry, a noob versus vet game. So like, I'll probably be on the vet side, and there'll be me and a team of veterans against a load of noob guys, and we're talking like 750 points, so it'll be a very basic game, and won't be pulling out any of the cheats or anything like that. And we can teach you how to play, and then it'll be like a noob and a vet team up versus a noob and a vet sort of thing for a game, and this will probably be up at Warhammer World. So if you want to learn, go check it out. I think they've got something maybe planned around about July, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that is it for this one, guys. It's been a little bit of a ramble, and sorry it's not been that well constructed or sort of designed, but as I said, I didn't want to leave people behind. I want people to understand the kind of world they're getting into. There are a lot of douchebags. Don't let them get to you. Just carry on. Do what you want to do. It's your hobby at the end of the day, so don't let anyone put you down about it. But yeah, if people tell you what it is, as I said, to all the people that want to put comments or correct people, don't argue. Just say, the way I understood it or the way I read it, I believe da 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 da. There you go. Avoid arguments. It becomes a sensible, grown-up discussion, and it's quite interesting then at that point. Instead of people just go, no, it's this way. I'm like, well, everything's up for debate at the end of the day. So, but yes, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry, it's a bit of a ramble. Not overly constructive, but might be some help to some people. So, take it steady, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.